Hello. We are waiting on Desi to join. And then we'll be discussing the Hunting Sirens book, which is right here. This book. It's by Mary Mecham. She will soon join, and then we can start discussing chapters 6 to 16. 7 to 17. Can't remember now. But I'm excited. I really enjoy this book. So we're gonna wait for Desi. She will soon join. There she is. Hey! I do have lipstick on. I felt a little blah, so I was like, I will add some lipstick and maybe feel like I don't look like sick or awful. Back to school cold from my kids. My husband is sick. It's awful. My husband has a bike race this weekend, so hopefully he's trying not to get sick. But both are a little bit sick, so it's fine. Saturday and Sunday and Monday, I was a little bit sick, and I am better now. I has a little bit on my left still, but I'm just very tired too. I think us are getting ready for back to school, and now we're on the second full week. So we're just like, so I'm just feeling exhausted. I woke up at 5 this morning too, so I'm just like, the alarm kept ringing and it's really loud. Hello. I'm not seeing comments. Why am I not seeing the comments? Okay. So hello. Welcome. Definitely Readers Book Club. I'm KT James. I am hard of hearing. I will be simcomming, which is speaking and signing simultaneously. It is not ASL because it is English word order that I am using, so it's not full ASL. It will be more like PSE, but that's because I'm simcomming. I will also be voice interpreting for Desi. It's fun. Be you. Desi can introduce herself. Yes, hello. My name is Desiree. You can call me Desi. I am deaf. I am going to be voice off, and I will be simcomming or voice interpreting for her. For everyone who is new here, we sign ASL, PSE, a mixture. But understand, maybe not the same as your sign. In the US, we sign ASL, yes, but some signs are regional, and there's different dialects, different styles. So we live in the South. And so we typically sign different in the North. I'm just letting you guys know. Last week we did have someone who was a little bit concerned and saying we're signing wrong, and just let you guys know that no. So anyways, welcome. And if you are one of our normal readers, hello, welcome. We are on chapter 7 to 16, yes. For This is Hunting Sirens. It's by Mary Mecham. So hello, welcome. Hello. Anyways, the book club, Definitely Readers, is a book club. Just a reminder, if you're new or if you're seeing us on TikTok scrolling and you see and you notice, it's a book club that focuses on reading books that have deaf and hard of hearing characters and representation, or can also just be ASL representation if there's a mute character, or books that are written by deaf and hard of hearing authors. So we want to share what we find. We want to analyze and see if they're good representation or Desi recently read a book that is just and also there's a lot in that book that just felt, I feel like it was that, like they wanted to have a disability and then at the end of the book, oh, they're healed. They're not deaf now. Please don't do that. Before we start Hunting Sirens, I do want to just let you know I did finally finish that book. Desi, good job, because I would have thrown it out so fast. No, is Chalet Love in Alaska. I suffered through it. I kept pausing it and then reading it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it done. That's my reaction to this book. It's just not great. I don't want to like cancel the author or criticize the author. Well, a little bit of criticism on the author though, because they said that they reached out to the impaired community, and no, there's no way. Like, I do know that I am I'm a very nice person. I don't like confrontation, but I have to tell you, this book sucks. I noticed that the writing doesn't really make sense on a lot of the things, but it was also translated from another language. Oh, okay. So interesting. I think it's where it's from. It said English translated. I don't know what language, but this book is written awful. No. But the deaf, and I don't know how I'm going to explain it. It makes me want to throw up. So the deaf representation is not an accurate representation, and I would not read it as a person who wants to read more that has deaf and hard of hearing characters. Okay, so this had a deaf girl. She became deaf after she had a car crash. Okay. So late deafen, which is fine. That's not a problem. Cool. Great. She does not have hearing aids or a cochlear implant, which I'm a little bit confused about that, because she only became deaf like 2 years ago, right? But her family and they all sign fluently. That does not make sense, because language like skills take a long time. If you grow up signing, yeah, you're skilled. Like, you don't normally have to like practice or whatever, but because she speaks too, right? She voices, she speaks. So she's not practicing sign, but like with like people who learn for her family. It was weird. That's a little bit weird. It didn't explain a lot about the background, just said that she had an accident and she became deaf because of an injury that damaged her hearing, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, cool, whatever. So she signs. And they're in Alaska, and she is works for a renting company because she bought a house next door. It's not ready yet, so she is staying in an old woman's cabin. So one day, a hearing man flew in, wants a break, time alone. He was in the hockey team, NHL, and he's retiring and all of this stuff. And they run into each other and find out that she's deaf. And he goes, oh, a little bit of a bantering. Okay, fine. But understand, they are fascinated with each other. And it's like insta love and cool. But what bothered me the most, Desi's already discussed with me. He kept saying hearing impaired, hearing impaired. There's not a lot of hearing impaired in this word, and it's just like it was just used all the time. I don't think that they use the word deaf or hard of hearing. They only used hearing impaired. Okay, pause. Like hold your thoughts. That term. My aunt. So that term, hearing impaired, it really depends on the person, but the person who is actually deaf or hard of hearing, if they want to accept that word, hearing impaired, that's fine. Yes. No. I agree. I hate that word. It is a hearing doctor's medical word that they use. But the deaf community has been like taking back the word deaf and hard of hearing as the actual politically correct word now. Before, they didn't. So like you see people use like visually impaired or hearing impaired instead of blind or deaf, because that was the politically correct word before recent years, right? But if you're not deaf or hard of hearing, that word can be very offensive. Like it's so now, yes, it gives us the ick. Now, if you're an older generation, oftentimes you prefer that word because that's what you knew growing up. So this generation, we don't use that word. And so seeing that in the book, in a newer book, is icky. Especially over and over and over again. I'm just like, stop. So people should know now the big D, little d is used more often because that is different. Big D, deaf. Little, yeah, you're involved in the deaf community. You sign. Little d, deaf, it just means you're deaf, you're hard of hearing. Like it's the medically correct word. Yeah. So hope, yes, they should have researched that because it is so important. And before, like the author's note, they said, thank you to the hearing impaired community who helped me write this book. Who'd you talk to? Thank you to the hearing pick to shape this, help shape this character. Excuse me, help shape this character. Thank you to the hearing impaired community who helped shape this character. Okay, before you continue about this book, Mason had a question. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel the same way about describing deafness as a disability? He also said, no, my question is meant to be, is it offensive to say in that way to hearing impaired versus deaf as a disability? No. I mean, disability, yeah. Disability is not offensive word. And it does depend on the person if they feel like they have a disability if they're deaf. Medically, yes. Deafness, blindness is actually a disability. Like, you have it on your driver's license. Like, it's technically a disability. Some deaf people don't think that they don't like to say that they have one, but it's varies per person. But medically, it's not offensive. Saying deafness is a disability is not offensive, at least to me. She said, wait, we're reading comments. So there's a lot of people here. Hello, welcome. Nancy, maybe we need to discuss negative. No. I just wanted to say that this, please don't read this because she became deaf from her accident, right? And she's signing, and then the guy learns sign for her, and they're going to class together, and they pick it up, and they learn pretty fast. And then later, he secretly calls a doctor, like a big doctor, and says, hey, can you fix her ears? I thought it was a cochlear implant, but it was not. So it was reconstructing the bones in her ears. And so she finds out that she got approved for the surgery, and she didn't know that he secretly got it going and paid. And so she is just like, her coworker is just like, look, you don't have to sign to me anymore. You don't have to sign. And so she got the surgery. She can hear again. And they stop signing. And she's just like, oh, I can hear everything. And it felt wrong. Yeah, it felt right. It felt like if she couldn't hear, she was not a full person, which that's not something most deaf and hard of hearing people feel. Like we're less because we can't hear. Like, so this would be better if the character went ahead and had the surgery and she wanted to hear some music, she wanted to play some music, she played music before, and that's understandable, and they fix it. Why not continue signing? Like, it would be interested if they got married and they had a deaf daughter. And they continue with ASL, but they dropped everything. And who she was for 2 years. And oh, okay, she's back to normal. And like that experience, she would never be the same person as before, like 2 years ago. Like, your experiences changed you. She was deaf for 2 years. Like, you're not the same person. Anyways, the point of this book club is that we do read books that have deaf and hard of hearing characters. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes we like what we read and it could be a good representation. It could be an representation, but we like the book. Other times we don't relate to the book or we feel like it's not a good one because we're curating a list of books that have deaf and hard of hearing characters. So if you want to read one, like quickly find a book that has that kind of character, because for a long time we've struggled to find books that have deaf and hard of hearing representation. So anyway, so we have a list, and if we read it and it's good, we'll keep it on the list. If it's not good, we delete it off the list. Okay. So Heather is one of our wonderful mods, and she said maybe you missed some because of translation, and they used, maybe it was a CI, or hearing impaired, and it reads like, oh, okay. So if you're the author and you know someone who's an author and you want to have a deaf or hard of hearing character in your story, anything that you type, you write, you're going to research, right? Why not do some research and make it maybe get a deaf sensitivity reader involved? Please don't use hearing impaired. It's an idiot. Doesn't know anything about our culture. AI. It doesn't know anything about our culture. It doesn't know anything about our experience or the deaf culture. Yeah. Okay. Tia said, can we talk about the author said, Tia reads, are you talking about the okay. So Tia said that she was an editor in that book. The entire book was a giant offense to the deaf community before she helped. Signaling. Signaling, like for signing, like instead, so like they use that word, signaling, like showing what you're like gesturing more than that. This book is in timeout. So I don't like books that need to be fixed. Same. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, hungry. So Tia reads. So we're trying to catch up on reading the comments. So the author is from Hungary. Okay. And so the doctor there told her some awful things that happen or about deaf people. That's interesting. And maybe maybe that's why hearing impaired. Hello, I love your account. Did you see that maybe that's the reason why the word hearing impaired is used, because maybe in that country that's a fine like word? Maybe. I don't know. I just know that here, more focus on deaf and hard of hearing and hearing loss, late deafened, all of those words. We do have a spectrum of deafness, but we just don't like the word hearing impaired because that is oddest. That's an oddest word. Hearing impaired, it doesn't focus on the spectrum. So most times on this kind of live, we discuss more about books that we are analyzing to see, and if we switch to this one, is Hunting Sirens. Girl, I like this book. Okay, so if you remember, I actually read this book early summer, and I had told Desi, I said this book is awesome. I discussed it before. It's really interesting because they specifically have they show sign language with italics, is separated from English. There is no sound talked about in the book. The character is deaf. The main character is deaf, and she does not voice. She doesn't voice. She signs only. Her family signs. Her brother often interprets. But it's really interesting because in this book, it's not ASL. It's just a sign language, siren sign language. And you can see that people have told her before that in one part that we read today that her stomach is loud. And so when she's hungry and she realizes that, oh, the feeling, she knows that it has a sound. And anyway, so it's really, I think it's cool how the author handled sounds in the book, because they specifically don't talk about how something makes and how how loud or what kind of noise it makes. So that's really fun. But she sees people's reactions and expressions when something happens and realizes, oh, that was a noise. So do you want to sign about what's happened so far? And I will voice. Sure. Are we done about the other book? Yeah, we're gonna put it aside for now. I had to finish it. I had to get it off of my mind. That's better than me. I put down a book that was talking about hard of hearing with hearing aids, and there's no signing, and she hides her hard of hearing, her hearing aids, doesn't talk about it. I was just no, I can't. I have other books I want to read. But this one, we're very happy so far with this one. It's worth it. So what happens in this story? So Treva, and the woman, she is deaf. She is a blacksmith. I don't think there's a sign for that, but she is working with metal, making weapons, armor, all kinds of things for her town, for the army and everything. And so she lives on an island where there's obviously water everywhere around, and her family, the ship's doing trade for food and clothes, but they've not been able to do it for a while because of sirens. The sirens are popping up and attacking people. Well, attacking people by singing. And so the people are just obsessed, and they just jump off the boats and fall and drown. So, so far it keeps happening. And the town becomes, they're starving, they don't have any more food coming in because they can't do their trades, and they're desperate of not knowing what to do. One day, Treva goes with, on the ship, well, she makes a weapon first. Yes, they asked her to make a weapon for the ship. It's like, yeah, it was a big one. That kind of, yeah, and it shoots arrows or something, and put it on the ship. And then she goes with her brother, who's her interpreter, her father, her cousin, her deaf friend, Sterling. So they're all on this ship, and they're out looking, and sirens pop up, and they're singing, and she's just standing there, and she talking with her friend, and she notices, seeing the expression, seeing the people, they're just walking, and oh, the sirens are here, and they're like, oh shit. So she shackles all of the people before they can jump off and drown. She misses her cousin and she's attacking the sirens. She was not supposed to be the person who actually like shot and unalived the sirens. That was supposed to be there to help with what she built, but it was supposed to be her father or her cousin who was a prince, like that kind of thing. That didn't happen. It didn't work. She had to do it. She had to go ahead and do it. She had no choice. And so her cousin, Korth, he's a prince. She was a little bit too late to get him, and so he jumped off the ship, and her best friend, who's deaf, Sterling, jumps in after him, and they were not affected by the sirens because they can't hear. And so she ends up killing, unaliving all these sirens, and she finds out, oh, she realizes we're deaf, we can't hear. So we're not affected. All these people who are going and that keep dying every time, I need to go myself. I need to do this and do this battling with the sirens. And so the town is like, okay, fine. She builds up a ship for herself that's perfect for just her, where she can do it. And there's different weapons on the ship. And she is going out to like 1 or 2 days, and she is unaliving a lot of sirens. And it's just like shocked about what to do. So she comes back home and she explains, and she's very exhausted because she was awake the entire time and she couldn't sleep, all of this stuff. So there's a lot of back and forth going in and out, which I think, why not set up, okay, yeah, sections. That'd be a good idea for deaf to like look out instead of having to come in. It's true. But, so they told people what happened, and then she plans on, I plan on going back again soon. And so her training is finished, and they go back and they continue to do that this way. And then one day, so there are a lot of sirens, and they became a little bit more like a little smarter, a little more clever. And they started throwing something at her, a stingray. They threw a stingray at her, and it stung her, and gosh, she got hurt, and she was dizzy. And then a kraken, a huge kraken pops up, and he is trying to attack her, and so she falls into the water. So while all this is happening, she has noticed that there is one siren who keeps popping up, and he's quiet and he's watching, but he's not singing. And he keeps popping up for her during this time, and she keeps seeing him. And she's like, But anyway, she falls into the water, and he ends up saving her. He takes her to an island, and she thought it was home, but it was not. And so she is stuck there. And okay, so she's hurt. She has no food, no water. What am I going to do now? So she is mad at this siren. She goes, I don't trust you. But what's interesting about this siren, so he's mute. He can't sing. He can't voice, nothing. But, so what does he use? Sign language. And she's like, how do you know my country's, my island sign language? And her jaw just like dropped, like, what? It was really funny. Yeah, that was a really funny part. His name is Bane. And so what's happened so far to the chapters where we've left off is she's starting to trust him more. Like they're talking a little bit, bantering some. They have some deep conversations, and it's possible because they both use sign language. So I like their banter. She's just like, oh. And he's like, oh, okay. Okay, he just pops back at her. They're equal in their conversations. And the most of all, what I liked, there's no miscommunication. Nothing. They're very straight, honest. They're very blunt. Let each other know. And it's very, very open. Like he said, you don't like, the sign, coconuts. You don't like eating that? And she goes, every day? No, I want like fish, something. It's not enough. I'm still hungry. Oh, you can't have, seawater to drink? No, I'll get sick. And he goes, oh, I can't survive without that. Like, it's just funny. Like they're both like honest. Yeah, there's a lot of comments. So 1 minute, we're going to catch up on comments and then we'll respond to any of the questions in the comments. Heather says she is on the 3rd book now. Wow. Okay. I will say while Desi is reading the comments, I've really enjoyed this author's like writing style. I feel like I agree with that. The writing is really good. And also in the beginning, like we told you guys that the author's note is explicit about that this character is deaf. She did her research with the deaf community. She had deaf sensitivity readers. And so you can see that the author did a lot of research before, and you can feel that in the writing. Yes, I absolutely hate miscommunication. Like, it's a pet, like it's on my nerves. Like that's like one of my pet peeves. Like I will often just DNF a book if the entire so I've read a book with a hard of hearing character who the entire point of the book was a miscommunication. And I was just like, nope, not reading that. So So yes, so this book is on Kindle Unlimited. It's on Kindle Unlimited. There's a physical book. I think there's an audio book. I'm like 99% sure. So it is available. Any comments that we need to talk about? Because I'm not caught up yet. It said that the book, the writing style, yeah, it's really fascinating. It really catches you. And then the miscommunication. We all hate miscommunication. I'm sold, yeah. It's very clear communication. I tabbed this book. I don't often do that, but I did. So, okay, while we're talking about like things, so when they were getting Treva's boat ready, and her brother, Gage is his name, he was interpreting, and she was discussing with one of the men who was helping with the build, because they had to completely change the ship to make sure that she could do it herself, like everything on the ship herself. And he was talking, so the man was talking, he said, I'm just concerned that a deaf girl is the one who's telling me, like issuing like orders, like what to do. A person or someone more capable should be, a person who is more capable should be the person I talk to, is like the point of the conversation. Oh, and like, so her brother is interpreting, but Treva is the person who was signing, who was doing everything. And so her brother like stops and is like, she's like the most talented weapons designer we have, but she's deaf. And she said, I don't, and then so Treva says, I don't have a problem being deaf. I have a problem with people who, and then just like cursed at him. And her brother said, I'm not saying that. And the man started to argue with Gage, who is the interpreter. And she stopped him and she's like, I'm the person who is talking to you. He's interpreting my words. Talk to me. She said, those are my words, not his. If you have a problem with me, bring it to me. I don't need anyone to fight my battles for me. And if you have a problem with helping, she said, get off my ship. I'm like, yes, yes, good job. I was just like, yes, shut up, Roscoe, goodbye. I just love that part, like, because it's so important. It's so important if you have an interpreter and you have a deaf person, you're not talking to the interpreter. That's not who you should be communicating with. You're talking to the deaf person. The interpreter is literally there to just give the communication. That's it. So I love that point is like there, like that's deaf culture, that's deaf experiences. And it's so important to just, that you don't just expect a deaf person to be limited. Yeah. Like, don't limit them. They can be a blacksmith. They can become a doctor. They can become a nurse. They can be a lawyer. They can be a teacher. Like, they just can't hear. Does that mean you can't do anything? Well, okay. Funny you say that. Funny you say that. There are a few things that is not physically possible. Like for me growing up, before I accepted that I'm part of the deaf community and I have, hearing aids and everything, I wanted to work with the UN and be a translator. It's not physically possible for me. I could do the written words, yeah, but I couldn't stand and be doing the speeches and translating them into different languages. So that really broke like my heart when I my dad had to sit me down and he was just like, this is not gonna be possible for you. Yeah, my dad said that. Dude, Desi, I couldn't hear to do the language translations. I wanted to work with French. No, I didn't know sign yet because this was before I went to college. So I didn't learn sign until I went to college. That's when we met and I became part of the deaf community, have some deaf pride, learn that being hard of hearing is okay. It's just something of who I am. It's one part of me. Before that, I was the person in the book that I put aside where I hid my hard of hearing and my hearing aids. And anyway, so your comment about you. Well, so I grew up fascinated with war movies like World War II, and I wanted to become a soldier. That's really cool. I want to fight for my country. I want to do that. I did actually do a short ROTC program in school for a few months, and it was fun. And then they said that we don't have deaf people in the Army. And I was like, oh, I was so mad. I was so upset. And I was like, well, fine, whatever. So, but now I think you can work for the Army, but you can't be in battles. Maybe. I don't think it's a normal thing, but I don't think that they can really deny, say you can't. If you want to, I don't know. Hope. So I did continue and I did learn French. Can I hear it? No. Can I read it? Yes. Can I speak it? Since I can't really hear it, not well. Hope or Heather, yes, that. But so technically, some jobs no, but most don't try to limit what they can do. And actually, is interesting in the book. It does discuss a little bit about she's a blacksmith, right? And it's always loud in the forge. And they're discussing that her mom doesn't like coming in because it's so loud. And Treva has said before that she loves that her work, no one bothers her at work because it is loud. So that was something interesting to add, that, you know, her work is loud and her mom and her dad, they just don't like bothering because they can't hear there. So this is also related with your quote. I think it's just right underneath it. It's not fair that you have to fight twice harder for people to believe that women could be a blacksmith, and it's unfair, not fair that I have to prove that the deaf person can be competent as well. A hearing man always assumed to be capable in his line of work. I fought for my entire life to be understood, fought to be allowed to be a blacksmith, fought the Sirens. Had it never occurred to anyone that perhaps I'm tired of fighting? Whew, that's a good one. So that's another point I feel like this book does pretty well with. The discussion that, and this might be always having to prove that you can do something because you're deaf or a woman. And I'm going to add, it doesn't say it in this book, but we've seen it often in writing, and then also from people that we know. If you're a person of color, always having to prove that you're capable to do something and to show that you're just as good as another person will always make you like just tired of fighting that battle. So that. Oh, and I'm sorry, my mic is not working again. I'm gonna have to buy a new one. I forgot last week. Yes, so hope any minority or disability feels that way. Like even if like chronic illness, anything, that if you feel like if you're not the same as everyone else, you're always fighting to prove that you're okay, that you're fine, that you can. So when she and the siren, Bane, are signing, they're signing and she's just like, you know, sign. And then she said, hearing people are typically assumed that all sign language is universal, that it's the same. Doesn't matter if it's it's not like it's not that spoken language are the same. Yeah. I want to get the quote exactly right. It says, can you sign it again? Because I found it. I have it too. Yeah, I have it. So hearing people usually assume that all sign language is universally the same, even though not all spoken languages are the same. Yeah. So earlier she talked about how she was on the ship with her family. They're meeting other deaf people, and they're trading, and she found out, oh, it's different. That's a different language. Oh, cool. It's not mine. So she was shocked that Bane assigned her local one. You know mine? Well, okay, but so he's signing, right? There, and that's the same waters that she lives like near, right? The island is right there. Maybe that's why. I know the reason why, but I can't tell you. Spoilers. Man. Well, hey, he gives the reason why later. There's a specific reason why. And if you've seen my review, you already know. I probably saw your review, but I don't remember everything. Oh, okay. I was excited about it. So the island, that she's stuck on this island, and she's hurt. She has no water, no food, nothing. So Bane does save her from drowning. And why did you save me? Why did you help me? And she's like, I don't trust you. And then later we find out he wants her to fight with the Kraken. Oh, that's right. Okay. That's in these chapters. I was making sure it's in the chapters we read. Yeah. Okay. The Kraken. So, oh, how can I... you rest. He doesn't understand what a human is. So she's communicating, I need water. And it finally rains, and I'm an idiot. So she goes and catches some water, and she drinks it. And Bane is just like, you can't drink ocean water? No, I can't survive on that. Oh, that's what we drink. Of course. So later, they find out that she's still hungry. Coconuts are not satisfying. They're not enough. So he goes down and he gets her a fish. And she's like, so she cooks it, and then they chat. And she starts to slowly, just a little bit, trust. And she's watching him. So I like the bantering. I like the funny and witty, how funny and witty they are both with each other. And I feel like it's accidental. For example, like he would throw something at her and she would just pop it back, and he got excited and he would keep doing it, and she'd throw it back at him like, I don't want to play with you, and they just kept doing it, and she goes, oh, I'm playing ball with him, no, and then she'd walk away. That was funny. Like, ignore him, and he's like trying to get her attention. So that's funny. Okay, so So I like the on page 117. It says, I have never considered myself a social person, always seeing others as a burden to put up with until I could retreat to the solitude of my workshop. But looking back, I've also never lacked for companionship. There's always been plenty of people who are ready and willing to talk with me when I needed them. My parents, Gage, Sterling, even Korth, his cousin, and his little sister, Tess, if I needed them. We had family dinners with my cousins and my aunts and my uncles, but now I had no one. The complete lack of companionship ate, I don't know how to sign that part, at my soul in a way I had never before experienced. And I've found myself wishing I could talk to someone, anyone. I craved that more than food. Is this like, and then she's like wondering, this how Bane felt? And loneliness has a way of pressing in on me and reminding me of all I had lost. Homesick. I felt like when she was talking and she was like, oh, they were talking about his home life and how he is away from home because he didn't agree with his parents. And his parents are against humans. And so he ran away from home and he's explaining that. And other sirens are bullying him. And so I feel similar. I understood that. And I felt like, oh, I'm not the only one. And so, and she's realizing, oh, I push people away at my home. I feel like, yeah. So, yes. Hope. I like that too. So she's reflecting and growing in her relationships and conflicted about her feelings. That. Did you notice that Bane has a shell necklace like Ariel? He didn't tell what it was about. He didn't say what it is yet. He hasn't explained it yet, and I'm waiting to see what it is. Okay, but I did like this other quote. It said, 127, page 127. Let's look it up. Okay. Wait. With him. Okay, go. Okay, with him, I was not simply the deaf girl. He was not afraid of my attitude. He seemed to really care about my thoughts. If only there was more people in the world like this, like Bane. That's a good one. I need a tab. Can't find my tabs, but I'm going to add that one. That was a good one. Oh, so Hope. Did you see Hope's comment about she likes a little bit of like foreshadowing? I think she thinks the same. So maybe Bane can have legs later. I mean, it is supposed to be a Little Mermaid retelling, you know, like the fractured story of the original Little Mermaid. So maybe it did say, why don't you trust me? Because I'm a siren. If I was human, would you trust me? And she says, sure. Well, she says, sure. And I felt like it was kind of like, sure, maybe, possibly. Okay, yes, so Melissa, Heather answered you, but it is Hunting Sirens by Mary Mecham. This is technically listed as the second book, but each book is a standalone. It's not like there are like people are in like the book, they'll come back in, or you'll see them pop up like cameos, but they're not like connected specifically. You have to read book one. No. So this is the second book in this series, but I really enjoyed it. I will say, so far this year, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. My top two for this year, this one and Daisy Chain Reaction. I feel like those two for the deaf books that I have read so far. I'm really curious because I'm hoping we're gonna read J.D. Mills' Secrets Don't Stay Buried soon, and I want to see that one because she is a hard of hearing author or a deaf author, and most of her characters are deaf. So I'm curious how well that one will. I'm excited to read that one. So Delia, yeah. So do you think that that's a good question? Do you think that Bane is manipulating her? You know, he wants her to fight the Kraken. Why is it important to fight the Kraken? So at first, yes. Okay. And then, so while they're bantering and signing, I think he's more open to her and she's more open to him because he said, like, are we friends? And she's just like, I don't know. So he wants to be friends with her. And he did comment about his world and what it looks like and what they're doing. So why? Because I can't remember. I read it again, but I don't remember. Did he talk about why he needs her to fight the Kraken? Because the Kraken is, well, yeah. Well, yes. Like he took his voice. Yeah. His voice. But why her? Why does she need to fight the Kraken? Why doesn't the Sirens fight? He did say that you seem strong and very athletic and all of this. Okay, so they've not talked about it yet. There's more reasons coming. It's because you're deaf. Okay, thank you. I thought I read that, but I also read to chapter 20 this week, so I'm a little bit ahead. 17, so I'm not gonna spoil, but only said you're very athletic, so we're the same. Oh, I did like that they found like commonalities between the two. Like we both sign, we're both athletic, we both fight. They're talking about sports. What do you like? What you don't like? So she likes wrestling, and he's like, oh, what sport do you have? And they have jousting. What's that? Jousting, you know, like we're riding on a horse. And he goes, oh, we do the same, but with dolphins. And she goes, huh, what? I really liked this writing. And I feel like the author really imagined well how the conversations and their expressions and what are you talking about and explaining. So every time I'm reading their conversations, I would imagine how it would go and think that's funny and seeing the signs. How long do you feel like she's been stuck on the island? It's a good question because some of us on Discord were like, wait, she lost so much weight. How long was she there? So Treva said about 1 week, but I feel like, no, it's longer than that because she said, like, I haven't leaked. And oh, okay, no, that makes sense because after that, like, because you have what about like 7 days before you become really ill if you don't eat, right? And it's like 3 days for water. So I know she was talking about like how long she would have if she didn't find food or build like shelter, like build a house, like a house, or get some water and that kind of stuff. And then I feel like it says, you know, the days become routine, like they do like this. Maybe a week or two. No, I feel like it's 2 months. I can't remember. I can't remember. I think it talks about it later. So Hope says, I'm curious. Can sirens be controlled by the Kraken? Like if they're trying to stop the fighting, like mind controlled? That's a good idea. So Heather said, it makes sense. She said, well, the town is already starving. And so she was already starving before she was marooned on the island. So on top of with the stingray and is hurt, and then she doesn't have any food. Yeah. Hello, welcome. Someone just called us out, said September book announced yet? We haven't even got it up yet. Oops. We will discuss this week. We'll vote this week. We still have 2 weeks to discuss this book, right? Yeah. 2 more weeks, but we'll do maybe tomorrow or Friday. We will do a vote on Discord. Oops. Sorry. The month has gone fast. I'm trying to see if it tells you how long that they've been stuck on the island. Because it does say, like, so chapter 16, it says, oh, intelligent. Intelligent what? So Tori, we have Discord, yes. It's available now on Discord. We have where you can go and see and like make comments on the books we're reading. We've not voted yet for the next month's book. We will be, I will say Friday. We'll set up the vote starting Friday, right? 2 days. Plenty of time. We will try. So chapter 16, it says, my days fell in a constant rhythm. So it feels like it's more time. I feel like, interesting. I don't know. That. I feel like they didn't say what, how long. If I remember, it was 2-3 months. But I can't remember. It tells you later. It gives a little bit more detail of like, not specifics, but anyway. Okay. Now I'm reading. So the last thing when we're chatting and he says, bye, where are you going? And the sirens are asleep, like you. I'm gonna sneak in. They're not near here because of the sharks. Oh. That's the end for a chapter. So what do you guys think is gonna happen next? Next week we're reading 17, but I'm curious. What do you think's happened next? 17 to 24, right? Yeah. 1 minute, I'll check. So what do you think? Yeah, 24. What do you think will happen? Where is Bane going? I know. I can't tell you. Oh, cool. Thanks. Awesome. So welcome, and you can join our Discord. Awesome. It looks like Heather knows. So Desi did a funny thing a few books ago where she knew what would happen and she would be she couldn't sign to tell like and spoil the book. So anyways, that's our emoji. I'm not gonna spoil about her and Bane. You know what happened? A little bit. I read 17, 18 already. Oh, okay. But for, I don't know how she's gonna get off the island. I have no idea. I don't know. How did she get off the island? Like how? Because she doesn't have a ship now because it was destroyed. And she did say her family will not be able to have a search party for her because the sirens, like they can't get help. So how do you guys think? Maybe they experience another attack, But she has no weapons now. She has no weapons. So how can she fight in an attack and win? Coconuts. Throwing coconuts. Throwing coconuts. That's just playing ball. One of the sirens before Bane left, he was bullying him and she threw a raw one at his head. Oh yeah. They were upset with Bane because he saved her. And that's how he explained about his home life and all of that. Maybe they come back for more. I don't know. Will they help if they come back? Maybe if they say, deal, I will kill the Kraken if you stop unaliving my people. Like all of the sirens, fine. And so she destroys the Kraken and then I'll take her. I don't know. I'm just fantasizing right now. Tori, welcome. We're excited to have you join. Yeah. Sharpen a spear, arrow from rocks or shells. Some sort of, so some collaboration will happen. Okay. Between the sirens and the humans. Okay. Maybe. I feel like this is hard. This is harder to not spoil. For me, I think at this point she will be just satisfied with Bane because she is starting to fall in love with him. Okay, so there might be a little bit of romance in this book. Just a little bit. It's not like the main point of the book. It's funny when you said, I can't focus on the signing because I'm just fascinated with him. And then she was like, well, what'd you say again? Okay, so the interesting thing, I feel like there's a few people, like when they're interpreting or signing, I'm just like watching, because some people when they sign are just beautiful, like their hands are just like smooth, and so like, or they remind me of like a friend, and so like I will just like be watching, you know, like them signing, not paying attention to the actual words that they're saying. And then I have to go back and like watch it again. One of the accounts on here, Raising Haven, she's an interpreter. I love her signing. It's just like, I could, and they're engaged now. Yeah, she in Landon. Anyway, so like I will just like sit and watch. There's another girl, I've sent her to you before. She reminded me of Catherine. And she doesn't post often, but I will have to like watch it again. Maybe not. She's an interpreter. And she looks like, yeah, our friend Catherine. So, hello, ASL calendar. Yes. Yeah, some people, Sarah, some people sign so pretty, and it's just like, okay, so that's a good topic to talk about. So some people sign and it's just like fascinating and gorgeous. And then, for example, in church, they sometimes have Christmas programs on Christmas Eve, candlelight thing. So one interpreter that I've been to before, she was signing "Oh Holy Night," and her signs were just gorgeous, like beautiful. And I was just sitting there, and it really touched my heart. And then when you hear someone sing and you cry, and I was just like, it's so beautiful. It's the same thing, yeah. But it's funny, like, you know, yes, she's falling, you know, Treva is falling in love, like, is fascinated with Bane, but she was just, like, focusing on, like, how pretty and not on his words he was saying. And I'm like, I have felt that before. I've just been like, oh, you're gorgeous. Your signing is so pretty. Like, wait. I missed that again. I've done that. And sometimes some people who sign quirky. Some people sign quirky. So just for example, I'm not criticizing. It's just funny to me. Looking back in high school, I had 4 or 5 interpreters for different classes. And so in my Spanish class, I had an interpreter, and she was awesome. She was champ. But her sign style, she would be interpreting, and then she would like, wait, interpret, but pause, interpret, pause, interpret, oh, hold on. Just a little bit of an attitude. And it was just interesting. Each interpreter that you meet has their own personality, like an accent, a hand accent. Thank you. Their style, and it just makes them who they are. And you can be fascinated with an interpreter, and yeah, you don't want to blank face interpreter. I prefer an expressive, a personality, that kind of thing. I feel like most people prefer the personality, not because signs can mean the same thing, like if you don't know with the expressions what they're signing. That is true. Oh, okay. So, interesting thing happened the other day. Our local place here, AIDB, Alabama Institute for the Deafblind, they had like a workshop with James Spann, our famous weatherman. And I was able to go, but I had a meeting that popped up at the same time. So I have hearing aids, and and I had I told them that I was watching an interpreter, so I probably would not be able to respond, but if I needed to later, just let me know. But I tried for 10 minutes to listen with because it was in my ears because of the meeting was on my phone, and then watch the interpreter. And I was just missing because I was watching the interpreter and trying to listen, and I realized that's not what they're saying because I was watching the interpreter and I was hearing different words, and I was like, And so I said, I have to go. This was I had already set this up before. You just let me know what I need to know later. And I just hung up my phone. So I was not there in person. I was on Zoom. They offered Zoom for people who couldn't make it. So I went, and it was really hard for me to focus because the interpreter was on the screen, was way off screen, off here and far. And the weatherman, he talks fast. Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes it will have frustrations, issues with, well, that issue is the Zoom. Like there was an issue with the video because there was something blocking the way where you couldn't see the interpreter in the room. So they made a move. There was a specific reason why. Like it just wasn't working. They tested it yesterday, the day before, and then it didn't work right. But it was fun. He was nice. There was a person who had a question. She was like, like I watch you every day, but the closed captions just cover everything I need to know on the bottom of the TV. Like, can you not like move the captions so I can see like the temperature or the notices and he was like, oh, do you prefer top or on the bottom? I don't know how live captions work for the news. Like it's typically big. So I think they can decide if it is on top or bottom. And so he said he would discuss it with their IT to figure out a different way. I was like, well, that's a really nice answer. Like, thank you. It's good that you said that because I missed that question because the interpreter didn't really interpret the answer, just the question. Oh, no. No. Because she was signing. So they had two interpreters. One interpreter was signing the question and then like back to make sure the other people in the room could see the question. And then Emily was working to answer like James, but you couldn't see her. Yeah. I couldn't see. Yeah. I mean, there's gonna be still be frustrations, but it was fun. Hi, Ashley. Nice to meet you. Yes, so Heather is one of our wonderful mods. She explained it really well. It's called DEAFinitely Readers, but we are hearing, deaf, hard of hearing, interpreters, all are welcome. We do SimComm, like I will SimComm, so I'm using PSC more than ASL. Desi is deaf and she is using more ASL, so I'm voice interpreting for her. We try to be accessible for both hearing and deaf, which is why we're doing both. But we do focus, we're trying to find some really good deaf representation in books. And so we're reading, most of what we read has deaf or hard of hearing characters or is written by deaf and hard of hearing authors. We do have a Discord. It's in our bios. You can also go to our website, which is the same name, definitely, so definitely, and then readers.com. It's also linked in the bio. We have not chosen a September book yet. We do try to read one book a month and we separate it out by chapters. We discuss on Discord our thoughts, more of our thoughts and feelings there, and then do a big discussion here, just trying to, we analyze more of like the representation here, and then try to like, if we connect, if we don't connect, like how we feel about the book. We have read a book before on here that we were just like, it's It's okay. Not the best, but it's fine. So we also have a list of books that we are curating to find if they're good to read. Children's books, young adult, romance, poetry, nonfiction. We don't read a lot of nonfiction. Right now I am reading a nonfiction one. Where is that? Oh, the deaf girl. Oh, I've not read that one. It's The Bachelor. She does not sign. She doesn't have a cochlear implant. So it's written about her experience. So it's kind of interesting. I think this is the first or second one I've read that's nonfiction. Yeah, we typically read romance, mystery, all kinds of things. Last book we read was The Magic Thief and the Whisper Heath by Effie LaRoe. That was a fantasy one. I had Faye in it. And this one is a hearing author, and it has a hard of hearing character. So earlier this year we did read The Daisy Chain Reaction. No, the book is put up over there. So yeah, the Daisy Chain Reaction is written by a hard of hearing author. The main character is hearing, but her sister is deaf, and there is a lot of sign and like ASL slang in the book. And she's writing the second book right now. Desi is actually a beta reader for that book. There's a deaf character. It has blue fairies. Oh, that's cool. Oh, so Ashley, we have Fable, yes, but we don't. We realize that our people prefer Discord, and I need to update Fable again. So Ghost Town. Heather, can you note that book for us that they're talking about? That'd be great. Ooh, excuse me. I'm trying to find a good example. Quiet, Beautiful Things. Oh, The Whispering Dark as a hard of hearing author. Kelly Andrew with a hard of hearing character. So the point is reread a lot of different books. We're not limited to just one kind. We've done ASL representation, deaf representation, hard of hearing representation, signing, non-signing, deaf authors, hard of hearing authors who have deaf sensitivity readers, hearing authors who don't get sensitivity readers. Okay. So like Nia Arthur's, her book is what started us reading, analyzing it this way, the right sign. She didn't have a sensitivity reader. Now, the second time we read it, we realized, some of that is not great, but most of it for her book is like a real experience. Like it felt pretty true, mostly true to a deaf representation. if people do their research, and it felt like she did research, which is so important. Yeah. Thank you, CH Fortenberry. We will look that up, and we do have a list, and we will be adding things to the list. But Desi is saying, don't read this one. And I told you last week, and I'll tell you again, I'm gonna keep that hard of hearing book on the list because it's written by a hard of hearing author. And that is a true experience. I just personally don't, like, I don't want to read that kind of book because I want to read a book about a strong hard of hearing character who supports and advocates for themselves, not a character who hides their disability, their hard of hearing. So I personally don't want to read, but it is a hard of hearing author. It is a hard of hearing character, and it is an accurate representation of some hard of hearing people. So I'm going to leave it on the list for now. Maybe later I will, but I will be adding a note on it that lets you guys know. And we both like, maybe more, if you have Deaf FMC readers and do research, typically authors will note in their book, like you said, and explain what it is about sign language. This was a beautiful example. The second, what we do like is showing sign. Have it separate from English, like italics or quotes or whatever, however you want to. But showing sign. Like, treat it, oh, you sign? Oh, this is speaking, this is sign? Like, treat it like a different language, like Spanish, French. Those are shown in a book normally by italics. Do the same thing for sign language. But so far in Hunting Sirens is perfect. She shows it differently with the signing. It's not signing, and it's cool. Ashley, I will update the fable, but you can also, if you want to contact us, you're welcome. We can, I mean, I'm happy to set up something to walk you through it. But yeah, honestly, we set up both Discord and Fable, and most of the people seem to prefer Discord and use that and not Fable. So we just kind of moved it to Discord more. We keep the Fable because we have our links there, but we don't use it. Most people don't prefer it. So that. But we're happy to have you there. Do we have any last minute questions or about the book or comments or whatever? My hair is bothering me today. Also, my dog is expensive. She can't put weight on her leg. We had to go to the doctor today. Yeah. Yeah. She she has to get x-rays tomorrow. They think maybe she has an ACL like tear. She's getting old. Mm-hmm. So anyways, be thinking about us tomorrow. Yay. Oh, Heather, I'm sorry. Hope it's not that. Maybe it's arthritis or something. Hopefully. Also, you know, she always has ear infections. And they said that they didn't, they're like, yeah, like it was so bad because she's still like, she it like will clear and then she'll get sick again. And they said they're surprised that she's not like had hearing loss because how many she's had. Well, you know, like our friend had one for a little bit of time. So anyways, that's been my day today. It was like 2 hours at the doctor's for the dog today. Yeah, but hopefully everything's okay with, or Heather, hopefully everything's okay with your dog. I don't mean to go off topic, but I do want to ask before I forget. Treva and Bane, they show each other sign names. I like his, Bane. But what do you think about Treva's? I don't remember it. Oh yeah, Treva. I was a little bit disappointed. Because she's badass. She's strong. Maybe for her smile? No, she's stoic. Bane is more like for the smile, like Bane, yeah. And for her, it didn't fit her, Treva. Yeah, who gave it to you? Do you remember? Was it Sterling or was it like her parents? Maybe parents? Because she has dimples. It just disappointed me. Oh, okay, yeah. Layla, hi, welcome. We're happy you're learning ASL. Ashley, you should, so like the link that we have in our bio should be specifically for the Discord for Definitely Readers. So there we have like the general chat. We do have like introductions if you want to do that. And then we have like resources, the book list, and a few other things. And then also you'll see that we have like the Hunting Sirens like book and then chapters that are like set up where you can add your thoughts. Okay. Heather also said that she would contact you after. Yeah. So Heather is our mod. I think we're going to be adding another person soon I need to contact. Yeah. Just to make sure everything's okay. Heather said dimples, Treva. Yeah, but it's T and V. It's not even TA. Dimples or... Okay, but it's interesting. So talking about like sign names, like Bane is with the B. Treva has T and V from her name. Now, many sign names you'll see don't use the English letter, like because you just did Triva, like it's hard. What's it called? Well, there's two kinds. There is the more Lexicalized. That's the wrong word. Delia. Yeah, TV. TV, that's funny. Oh no. But in that area, like you don't assume that it has technology like that. It's funny. Um, so for sign names, you have first, so using letters is called arbitrary, the sign name, and then the second one, lexicalized. I'm gonna spell it 1 minute. Descriptive, yeah. This is wrong. It arbitrary and descriptive, yeah. So like most early, maybe like what, mid 2000s, like so they started doing more descriptive sign names, not like letters. Like would you say that like now it's more common, like you see it more to have the descriptive like this, like mine, or this, like my kids, your kids, like you don't see like Desi, Kim, Kath, you don't see the letters more now. That was older, and it was also started with hearing teachers, right? So but now like it's become more where when you're given a sign name, most times it is used as a description to help identify who you are, right? So they don't want to always use a letter. I mean, my teacher gave me Desi and then went down the line. Yeah, so I think that teacher or my mom gave me Desi. I can't remember which. But I did think about it like a month ago. I was just like, I'm tired of this. I wish I had a cool sign name. I can't give myself one. How many people do you know in the deaf community? Come on. I mean, it's so weird. I have a sign name for 37 years, 38 years. Can you give me a new one, please? And I think that's why it took us so long to give our kids like sign names. Like my son didn't get his sign name. I gave it to him when he was 3. And that's part of his sign name. And then my daughter, is because she has a dimple. And she loves candy. That was easy. That was an easy one. She was like 2. But like it's a little bit strange. Like sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's a little bit more like difficult, complicated to give one. That's pretty. So AI? Cause sun. I feel like we're trying to figure out Heather's side name before, like when we were first met her. We're like, Heather? Heather? Is that how you do your sign name, Ashley? As an A on my cheek before. Yep. That's really cool. But yeah, so like, this did you see Delia's did you see her comment? It's just TV. It's not specifically her name. It's TV. If you don't have it like a dimple, like TV, like it's just TV. I feel like she should have a cooler sign name. It's cold now. Yeah. Classifiers for the win. Yeah. Okay. Bill said one question. What would Bill be in ASL? Like fingerspell, like your name, or like a bill, like you pay a bill? We typically fingerspell it for paying something. And then you will see like often, like if it is like 3 or 4 letters, most times it is fingerspelled. Like you have bank, technically it's a, but you fingerspell bank. So, oh, name. Okay, wow. With a sign name, you have to be given by a deaf or hard of hearing person who knows you, your personality, who you are, and what you and socializing with you. You can't really just give a sign name that you don't know. So if you are interacting with a deaf person, you will get one. Which that is a topic to discuss. So most times if you're taking an ASL class, like ASL, like in college or in high school, you don't normally get a sign name at the beginning of class. And then sometimes they will, like the teacher will bring in a deaf person if they're not deaf themselves, so they can give the students a sign name. But so are you like if you're learning ASL, go ahead and continue and hang out with people. You will one day get your sign name. That is a very special gift. Oh, I've been given a special sign name. Yeah. And people are like, hey, do you have a sign name? I don't know who you are. Yeah, you need to hang out with them first and get to know them. So some ASL teachers will give a sign name, but not immediately when you start their class. And then also if they are a hearing teacher, they won't give you a sign name. They will invite a deaf or hard of hearing person or to try to get one. B I L L. And again, B. It's a 5 with that's 4. I L L. It doesn't matter which hand, you're using your dominant hand. So, Bill. If you have double letters, you can just slide it. So, Bill. So like up, hope. Welcome. Oh. That's dead. That's buried. That'd be sad. But if it's for like reading, like, but that's hard because it's almost already. Desi's doing the sign. Hello, Piper. You're taking ASL 2 this year at school. Any tips? I love deaf culture. Sure. So we do have some tips. I would say practice, 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 practice. Hang out with deaf and hard of hearing. Go to deaf events. Immerse yourself in the language. Fingerspell practice whenever you see words. Just keep fingerspelling them. Think positive. Always be passionate. Assign slow. Doesn't matter. Just do your best you can. I mean, you kind of listed them all. I would say it's a language. It's a language. So you're not going to be the best at the beginning, and just practicing will help. And like, don't be afraid to go to deaf events. Yeah. Oh, also, when you're practicing, like when you're hanging out, like try to be voice off. Like that will help with ASL grammar. Obviously, I am not voice off right now. I am simcomming for accessibility. But when Desi and I hang out or we're with our friends, I'm voice off and I'm just signing. So that will help you with remembering to use ASL grammar because you're not thinking in English. If you're talking, you're still thinking in English. You're welcome. Oh, yes. So V had a good tip too. Did you read that one? Be willing to code switch. So there's 2 questions that we missed. So Bill said, will your sign name now change later? If you look different, if you've lost weight, if your personality, it depends, really. I have had a few friends whose sign name changed because the deaf community was like, oh, I don't feel like that fits you. We're going to do this one. This one fits you better. If more than one person agrees with the name change, it's accepted. What's the name of the book? Hunting Sirens. Oh, thank you. So this one is Hunting Sirens, and it's by Mary Mecham. It is up here. I think it's on our website. It is listed in the Discord. So, one more tip. Have a system of support like interpreter, deaf people, friends or classmates that you're learning with. Get together and do a study group, find a support, like a Facebook group. There's a Facebook group called ASL Buddies, ASL Practice Buddies. Find your group, your system. Okay, I'm good. So we love to chat more. This is a really awesome discussion, but it's also really late here. We live in the South, in Alabama. So it's 11 p.m. Oh, wow, it's late. We have school in the morning. Well, our kids have school in the morning, but it's fine. We appreciate everyone. So we really enjoyed it. If you have any questions, if you're curious about anything, you can join our Discord, can contact us. There is a section that is for questions, different topics, off topic, general recommendations, ASL questions. We'll answer in there too. And then also, if you don't feel comfortable going on the Discord, you can contact us. I might be a little bit late because I have actually not been on TikTok often recently, but I will respond one day. I'm getting back to like work, like with TikTok and like everything that I'm working on myself. So like my day job is slowing. Finally, it's been busy for 2 months now, but we had our app release, so now maybe it will calm down a little bit. Yay! And one more thing. Chapters 17 to 24 next week. Thank you. That. We'll vote soon for September's book. We will give you 3 choices to vote. And then whichever we will always have an audiobook available as an option. We try to do a indie or like a self-published author too, like so we try to have those kind of options, so it's not just the same every time. Oh, Desi her candle is out now. That means she's done. Yes. Honestly, I have to get up at 6 in the morning. I'm not as young as everyone and can stay up all night. So, okay. Thank you guys. Yeah, so we typically are on Wednesday nights around 8:30, 8:45 Central Standard Time is normally about when we'll start then. On Discord, we will normally announce that we're starting the live. So if you have like notifications, you can see that too, that when we'll start the live. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for joining. We will see you next week with chapter 17 to 24, probably more discussions about deaf culture too. We'll add that in. But yeah, and happy Wednesday, happy reading. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye. See you.